In this video, we will talk about two commands, xml-kv and xpath command in Splunk. Now, both of these commands are actually used to extract fields or key value pairs from the XML events. So if your events has some XML data, then maybe you can use these commands to extract some fields over there. Now, there are certain limitations of these commands. Maybe we'll try to see it in this video as well. So let us first try to see how XML-kv works. So syntax wise, it is very easy. So it has only one thing. It is called the command name is XML-kv, and there is only one input called max inputs. So XML-kv is actually automatically extracting the key value pairs from your XML data. So let's say I have just taken this one, a very simple XML stuff like list of games over here. If you see, we have the games tag, and under it we have two games over here. Okay, now if you see, if I just try to use XML-kv here, okay, XML-kv, so what it will try to do, it will try to extract the key value pairs from this one. Now, as by default XML-kv works on the _raw field, but if you want to apply this one with any other field, you need to give the field name over here. So the field name, you can give it directly, something like this one. So in this case, I have just taken this sample XML in a data underscore XML field. So I'll just write something like this one, XML-kv, then data underscore XML. Okay, if you see it, it extracted two stuff, the name and the category over here, but it extracted actually only for this last one, if you see it, right? So that means if in your XML you have multiple same nodes, it only extract for the last one. So that is what I have seen it over here. So that's why, like, this particular command may be useful when you have a single node over here, single game node over here in your event. Then maybe by automatically extracting these names and category, you can use this XML-kv command. So if I just remove one of this game, let's say I'm just removing the second game over here and run this command again. So now it is extracting properly that name and the category over here. Okay, so this is the XML-kv command, and XML-kv has another input called max inputs over here. If you see it, now this is for restricting, like, for how many events you want to work on with this particular XML-kv command. So by default value is 50,000. That means it will be extracting key value pairs for the top or the head 50,000 events only, the first 50,000 events only, but you can give any input over here. So that's the XML-kv over here. Now, compared to XML-kv, the XML-path command is a better one, but it has also a limitation, which we will see that one. Now, XPath command is basically, it draws its reference from the Python XPath syntaxes. So if you are aware about this Python etree elementary, this particular package, it also supports the XPath arguments. So XPath is nothing but you can give a path syntax which are used for extracting the node values, their properties, their attributes, everything. So XPath has little bit syntax like something like this one, like if you want to select the current node, you can use dot, or if I just give / a element name, so that means it will select all the elements with that particular element name in that particular XML. So it has this kind of syntax. Maybe I will be sharing this particular link in my video description as well. Have a look at that one. We will see some of the examples today as well. So the syntax wise, the XPath command has these inputs. The command name is XPath, and the out field you can give a field name, which will basically creates the new field name over here. Then the actual XPath string, and then the field on which you want to apply that particular XPath command. Now by default it applies to underscore raw, and if this particular XPath string is not extracting any data, so then you can give some default value as well. So that will be the default value of that particular field when this particular XPath string is not extracting that anything over there. So for an example, let's say I have this particular event. So I actually taken a sample data and I just ingested that data in my Splunk, and if you see I have only single event over here. So I have couple of countries over here and their rank, year, their GDP and their neighbor names over here. Now let's say I just wanted to extract the country values from this particular event. So how I will be doing it? So I will be writing the XPath command something like this one, XPath. Then let's say I want to create the field called country. So out field is the input of the XPath. I can give a field name, let's say country. And now the XPath, basically the particular XPath string. So as we are seeing it over here, the double slash means it selects all sub elements on the level beneath the current element. For example, this one, it selects all the egg elements in the entire tree. So now for us, I just wanted to select all the country elements over here. So I'll be giving slash slash country. So this will be selecting all the country elements, and now I need to extract the name attribute over here. So this is how I will be doing it, slash and attribute. It will be always, we need to give at the rate, then the attribute name. So if I just give something like this one, so and run this particular one, so it will be creating a field called country over here with all these names over here. Now one thing you need to remember over here is, as this is a single event and it is finding 3 country values over here, so this will be a multi-value field. So if I just table the field country, so you'll see it's a single event over here with this multi-value field over here. Okay, so if you are using multiple XPath commands to extract multiple fields, so for each and every event where it is finding multiple values, it will be creating multiple field only. Okay, so that integrity of that different fields maybe you need to establish as well. So something like this one, let's say I am keeping this XPath country equals to country name. So let's go back again, and let's say I wanted to extract the rank, or let's say year. Okay, so how I'll be doing it? Again, similar stuff, XPath outfield, let's say outfield I'll be giving year. Okay, now what will be my XPath string? So again the year is under country, so that means slash slash country will be there, then a slash year, because year is a tag name, not the attribute name, so that's why it will be something like this one. So this is how we'll be extracting year as well, if you see it. Now if you just table these two guys, table country and year, so both of them are multi-value field. So for which country, which year, so generally it extracts sequentially, but for a single event, if you want to basically know like which, for this particular country this is the year, then maybe we need to process this multi-value field accordingly. So that thing we need to do it over here. That thing it will not be handling automatically. So that's the stuff about the XPath command. It will be more prominent. Let's say I have this one. For each and every country I have neighbors, so the number of neighbors could be more than one. If you see it, for Panama the neighbor is 2, for Singapore the neighbor is 1, right? So now if I just extract in similar way, so let's say I just wanted to extract the neighbor name, how we'll be doing it? I'm just keeping the other 2 XPaths as well. So let's let's say XPath. So let's say outfield, this time I'll be giving the neighbor name, and my XPath string will be country, then the neighbor, and then we need to extract the attribute name over here. So @name, because it's a attribute over here. So that will be our neighbor over here. If you see it now, again let us table it, table the country, year, and the neighbor. If you see it, for Panama we have these two neighbors, right? But as it is a multi-value field, there is no intricacy between like which we won't be knowing, like for Panama actually these two are the neighbors. So that's the stuff we need to, maybe when we'll be processing the multi-value field, we need to take care of it. Or maybe like we can use this XPath command very deterministic way, like if our event is having some kind of XML structure. So let's say again, like if it is having a single country, then it is not a big deal. I can easily extract those values, or maybe I have some logic I can apply on the output of this XPath so that I can easily distinguish between this country name and neighbors. Then I can use the XPath as well in that case. But if you are applying this XPath on multiple events, definitely for each and every event it will be creating separate rows. But as each and every event has many countries and the many neighbors, so it will always create the multi-value field over here. Now let's say we can do something like this one as well. So now let's say I have this country, right? Now I just wanted to extract this country name, or let's say I just wanted to extract Singapore only from this particular event. Okay, so this you can do something like this one. So this means select all the countries. But if I just apply this one over here, so if I just go back to the Python again, so you can give this attribute equals to value to select all elements for which the given attribute has the given value. Okay, so that means if I just write something like this one, my attribute name is having a value called Singapore. So that means I am just only selecting this particular node over here. So then if I just extract the country name, I can now extract a single country from here. So if you are not able to, so that is what I was talking about, like if you have multiple countries and if you want to selectively extract data from this XML data, you can always use this XPath in this way as well to extract a particular data from this particular event over here. Okay, so this is the fundamental stuff about this particular two commands, XMLKV and XPath. They have their own limitations, but sometimes they are very useful as well. And this only works with the XML data. So if you talk about the JSON data, I already discussed in my SPath command, where we are working with the JSON data. That is also a very useful command as well in Splunk. So hopefully this video was helpful. See you in the next video.